Hi traders again, Scott here. Apologies for the soft voice. It's quite late. What is it? It is 11:48 in the evening on Wednesday, the 28th of December, and my girlfriend's sleeping, so I don't want to wake her up. Alright, so I said I might not make a video in between when I last made one on the 22nd, but I just want to share with you guys just some insights and some information on forming good habits for trading. Something I've recently come to sort of develop, and I'm finding it's really helping just with my trading in general. All right, guys, and maintaining just a good psychological mindset and approach to your whole life. All right, so guys, we'll go to the updates on my open positions. Yes, I have left the USD Singapore dollar position open, and we got onto this on the 15th. So there's no real time frame. In my back testing, this reflects what I do. So we'll just review the positions, guys. This is when we got in. Pending order. Ideally, I always get in pending orders. That's how I've tested the system. Stop loss just down here. So we got in around here and just above the close there. Alright, and it's a little bit wicky, it's come back, but now it's bounced a couple of times off this little area here. We'll go into the line graph. So look at that, just keep that linear, keep that growing. So to the new traders or people interested in trading, I've got two position sizes here, guys. So the first one is a 1-to-1. So that's the difference between the entry price, and the stop loss, and that reflects that difference in obviously the buy. If it was a sell, it'd be exact opposite. It'd be down here, stop loss up there. So we have an even win to loss type ratio. If it hits it, it's what was risked if you win it. So the ratio is a 1-to-1, which is at least the minimum you guys want to chase after in Forex. You don't want to be risking, a huge stop loss for a tiny gain. That's just really, that's going to cripple your account in the end. Okay, and then this is an open position. So, we're sitting around here. This started at 5,000 back in like the 12th of November. So, it's been well over a month now. It might have been slightly earlier. We can bring up the account history. It might only go back to it keeps going. I'm not stand, so there's no annoying clicking sound. Okay, so this is what I got in on look, October the 24th, and then the next trade was when I financed it. This is obviously a demo account. We'll go in the live account as well tonight. Alright, so we'll be keeping it quick. It's already 3 minutes. Alright, so we'll go back to trade. So that's where we're sitting at. Look, from my discussions with my mentor and the teacher of the system that I'm using, a break from the system is advised to the 10th of November. But I'll just show you guys stuff that the signals alerted me to. Alright, let's just have a look at the Aussie dollar just because I'm in Australia. Alright, so it's I didn't get involved in this. I know a trader that did, and he's really reaping the benefits here, but that's fine. What else will we have a look at? And I'm on the pound Japanese yen live account as well, so that's still open. And then once that's either hits the break-even stop, or they'll just keep going if it keeps going. So that's not complaining there. That would be terrific. Euro, a little bit of activity there. So that's a big shadow engulfing candle. But the concern is with me, very sideways. So until it can break through here, guys, 103.506. It's just you don't know where it's going to go when it's in this sort of type of consolidation. So it's like this. It's up, it's down, it's, can whip you pretty hard, so to speak. Let's just give you a perspective there on the daily. So, is it trending down? Yes, it is. Weekly. but I mean, it is breaking lower. But yeah, I'm not going to get involved in that at all. And sorry guys, we'll go back to the daily here. And the USD CAD, gosh, it's broken through there. This is the final sort of bit, and it's in, rejected that, and it's, it's not at that right now. If we can get around, just move this way, move this down in the back corner. If we can get in around here, but what I want to see is this is sort of forming into what we call, it's a wiki kangaroo tail, they're called. That's the literature that I've learned with Walt Peters. So someone might call it another pin bar. So it might sort of, if that goes quite wiki, you can sort of test that level and go reject it, and then back down we go. Because again, on the daily, what the 4 hourly, uptrend on the 4 hourly daily. Well, recent uptrend. But we'll go back again. So the trend is higher. It is uptrend, but it's a weak uptrend, and then the weekly. So the weekly, slightly higher highs, slightly higher lows. We'll go back to the daily. So I missed this. Could have got in there, but I didn't. Let's not ponder over that, everyone. I guess what I would say is with 4 hourly, I'd really wait for this to print, and then another engulfing candle in a bullish sense. So we're going to leave that. All right, let's put that back up there. So that's the demo account that I've got. Right. Sorry. Ooh. Got a new enormous water bottle, BCA free. I'm gonna get cancer, apparently. It's important. Alright, USD CAD. We've got this here, so live account. So we all know what we're talking about here. So I started here with 5,000, and then Oana gave me $250 of credit for my first trade. Just a cheeky trade. So we'll go here to the pound yen. Gosh, this is meant to be a short video. Just ramble on, don't I? Just ramble on. Trying to swear. Okay, so this is a signal following account with the hamster, signal start, James Kensington. Okay, I need to make that very clear. I'm not qualified really to trade live money. I definitely can, but I need to, test the system more thoroughly. And whilst I'm learning, conveniently, and for everyone available to the public, you can be a part of this as well. Look, what I will say is you really want to be in the Naked Forex Now forum as well, so you can learn. So don't be a passive individual where you just make it, let it make money, and we will make money for you. But what happened was James wasn't trading for personal reasons, and an individual that's in his fund traded. So there were a few little issues, so there was a little bit of drawdown, but it's just like you're sparring, with a big hitter, and you're going to get hit. You get up and you reassess, you're not dead, you're fine. That's trading. You're going to take little hits here and there, and, just let's not cry over spilled milk, everyone. Okay, so we'll go to the 4 hourly. Alright. Okay, so that was where I think we got in there. Everyone on that candle. So it's like a turning point type trade. Where the daily, you'll see exhaustion of the trend was identified. Reversal, another way to describe it. So we got in there. The stop loss was put around here, and what happened was price went down, and it's a little bit more aggressive than the demo where the stop loss is moved to preserve equity, because obviously, I'm sure there's millions traded for the signal. Around so there's 250 or so clients, around 5,000 in it each at least, so I might be incorrect, but yeah, so there's a level there of importance to preserve equity. So we'll go in, see what it's doing. So it's the reason for these candles is, and it's important to remember, guys, is that this time of year a lot of people are on holidays, a lot of traders. So that's what it sort of looks like. Anyway, we'll get out of that. Okay, we'll go back to the practice. What I'll go over as well is I will go over, and again, the stop loss is only moved when, just to refresh guys who don't know the system, the double Bollinger Band method. So when that gets to the first take profit target, then the stop loss is moved. So what happens there is the work's been done, and then you trail it with a 1R. So the difference between that and that 1R is what that's called, is the trailing exit. So you just let it go, and it might, anyway, pardon me. Okay, let's go to my back testing. All right, and just some important notes that I've made for guys who are interested in, getting this DBB alert indicator for Forex Tester, and then MT4 for your demo stuff. Okay, that's, I can send that through. Email me. It's going to be irrelevant if I show you it and you don't have the software, because you can't attach it to, it's got to be relevant to the software. It's got to be Forex Tester 3. And it's going to be MT4 platform for your demo, and obviously for your live as well. Okay, but just to begin with, I just want to say a few things. Okay, and before I do any sort of trading, before back testing, before I've got my notes as well that I can go over, so you want to take some notes, you can take some notes. I'm just discussing establishing like a trading mantra and also a routine. Okay, so my pre-back testing trading routine is I like to wipe down the bench stops in the kitchen whilst listening to my Brainwave activity app that I have on my phone, and I'll explain that as well in the description link. Okay, and then from there, whilst I'm listening to it, that might take, and I might also unpack the dishwasher as well, so I sync things in where I watch a little bit of TV. I'll use my roller, my foam roller, because I'm an athlete, I get sore, I do that, and I'm done with that, TV's off. Then earplugs are in, we listen to that for a little bit. I might sit in the dark lounge room for a little while, and then we'll transition. If the dishwasher's still going, I like to have about a 10-minute, just listening to it, and then I'll, do a few things around the kitchen area, just make sure it's clean and tidy, prepare my lunch, maybe, as well for the next day. Nothing too serious, no cooking, just, getting, cold food together that I've cooked already earlier in the week. And then from there, once that's all done, then we'll come in here. So we're talking about 20 minutes or so. And then we'll come in here with a clear head, and I've listened to it. And then I'll open up Backtester, my Forex Tester 3 software. I'll open up the Wanda demo account, and then we'll scan through the charts. And when you open up the charts for the first time of the day, I'm more using dailies because of 4-hourly, it's just I can't really. I'll be at work, I'll be doing other things. All right, so I'll check them probably 7 p.m. and then midnight, but usually it's 7 at least, and then 12 in the middle of the night thoroughly, because that's the peak of really where the money's at most of the time. And I've got my Brainwave activity, therapy running as well the whole time. And then if I see a potential setup, what I'll do is I'll send that to my trading accountability partner. Okay, Connor, if you're watching, yeah, very helpful. And I'll give a ranking whether or not it's following my rules. So you need a system and you establish rules. That's important. Okay, if you don't do that, you're sort of wasting your time. You're gambling, and you just flip a coin, take an entry. If the euro goes up or down, it's that simple. It's not really trading. That's just gambling and stupid. Okay, and then check charts as well, obviously. So I actually manually go through them all and just, there's no rush on them. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then I'll sort of narrow it down whilst I'm going through. Okay, and then from there's one or two that are looking interesting. Then we'll go take a screenshot, send it through to him, my trading accountability partner, and then we can go from there, establishing a dialogue. And then once a week, I will contact him and we'll go over what's going on, my open positions, whether or not I'm not meant to take a trade unless I run it by him. He knows the rules and I make sure it's valid, and then we go from there. If I've done something that's breached the rules, that's really, it makes you accountable. Because if you do that, in the end, it descends in tears. I used to move the stop, too early, and then that wouldn't establish what I used to test in Forex Test 3, and that, would prematurely end trades, and then they would go off, to the races again. And that's what I deserve for not following the rules. You might get a few little micro winners, but you need to let the winners run. If they're in a trend, you've waited and you've sat and wait like a sniper for the trend to sort of slow down, and the signs, the setup to look for, and then the signal comes and you get a little bit of profit, you go, ooh, profit, and then you close too early. That's counterproductive, because what will happen psychologically is you have a tendency to be, you feel like a setup's really good, even if it goes in a bit of drawdown. You say, I'll turn, and the stop loss is where the stop loss is, and you'll hit the stop loss, and that loser is so much bigger than if you let that runner go and you collect the profit that you really deserved. Okay, and what I will say is the Naked Forex Now forum, it cost me around $100 Australian a month, and there's a psychology course. You get what you trade for. I'm doing that right now. It's extremely helpful. You need to work on that. You can't just trade and think you're a fucking guru, and you're not gonna be. You're gonna get burnt. Okay, unless you come from a trading family, but they're going to tell you to do that stuff though. Because even if you come from a trading family, you're still going to close trades early. You're going to do all the bad things. You're going to use too much risk. You've got to be very disciplined. Okay, so this was meant to be a 10-minute video, but so the final little conclusion that I want everyone to take from as like a summary piece is, if you're doing your back testing, take a screenshot of your losers as well. That's really important. Make sure you follow your rules when you go to demo testing. Once you're sort of familiar with your system, follow those rules, let the trades play out like I've shown you guys. Look how long this trade's been open for. Okay, do I check it once a day? Not really. I might check it once every 2 days, see how it's going, just out of sheer curiosity. Just to see if it's taken off and make me feel good. But there's a little bit of work to be done. We're in a little bit of drawdown. Over 2% is the end of the world. No, because silly mistakes were made early on. All right. So that's me, guys. I hope everyone has a great New Year break. I will probably put a video up on Friday. I will. Nothing much, will have happened. But I've got a few other things to discuss when it comes to the courses I'm doing. And, just a few helpful hints. I'm not really going to show much of the course because it's paid for. And if you really want to do it, I can give you the links, but you're going to have to pay for it. Because, that's just how life works, all right? Okay, guys. Anyway, have a good holiday. If you're having a holiday from the charts, you're probably not going to watch this. But for the people that do watch it, the very few people that do watch it and follow me, I hope this is helpful, and I'll check in again on Friday and then next week, and I'll just keep on giving you guys some information, and I hope it helps. See you guys.